Right now, my heart is really heavy. I feel like I know the steps to take care of my mental health, but it's really easy to get lost in yourself and feel like you're alone when you're not.
I feel like I've talked to my mom before about getting like therapy or counseling, but it seems like a little bit taboo, where like she said like if if I was to get therapy or counseling and like people found out about that, I wouldn't be able to get a job or something.
I'm from China, and back in China, there's this stigma around mental health problem. Basically, if you feel depressed or if you have anxiety, people will just tell you to like toughen up.
So I'm from a very traditional Asian household. My parents are immigrants from South Korea. So we never talked about it growing up.
Like when you tell someone like I've been feeling this way or like I've been going through this, they say like my mom immediately goes into like, oh, you need to like drink more water, you need to like eat this, and then you need to like go to sleep at this time, and you need to meditate of like 10 minutes a day. And it's just like I mean, like yes, I agree with all those things. Like I do need to do all those things, but like if like when that becomes like the immediate response, like oh, you need to do this and this and this and this, it just becomes like another like just like a list of things to do on top of all the other things I need to do, and it's like it's not helpful when that's like the immediate response that you like constantly get.
So there's this cultural idea that you can be stronger than that, or whatever it might be, right? You can get over it. I think it does contribute to a lot of depression.
I feel like my parents honestly do not take my mental health seriously. I remember in high school, the first time I asked to go see a therapist, my dad called me into his office, and the first thing he said was that I shouldn't go to the school counselor to talk about these things. I shouldn't admit it, I guess, because it might end up on my record. It would affect my college admissions.
When I had mental health issues for the first time in middle school, my mom kept it pretty hush hush.
I remember telling my mom it's not my fault, it's not your fault, maybe I just have a mental illness. And she was like, you are not mentally ill, there is nothing wrong with you mentally. So it's difficult to convince them that there are problems when you can't see them or see evidence of them.
I think it's still fairly stigmatized, especially in first generation, second generation families. My family is mostly fourth generation, fifth generation, and great aunts, great uncles, and my grandparents, they're third generation. So there is a bit more of that acculturation into US centric culture. And there is a bit more talk about mental health, but no one would ever just bring up mental health in a conversation.
I spent a long time advocating for myself in order to even receive the therapy I needed. And then also getting therapy means someone else knows your problems too. And I think a big Asian American cultural thing is to swallow every problem that you have so that people who are outside the family do not know about them, because otherwise it ruins the reputation, ruins your prospects of getting a job, etc. I deserve therapy, which is already hard. How do you know what's wrong with you? How do you know what specifically you need help with? But also to break it down into simple enough English for my parents to understand and not find controversial.
I wish people would understand that even if someone's getting treatment, even if someone is maybe on medication, even if someone is seeing a professional and has support from friends, it's definitely not always going to just fix everything. Like not within a day, not within a week, maybe not even within a semester. Like it's gonna take time. It's gonna take, sometimes it takes reaching out to even more resources or finding like more places of support.
I mean, to the API community, I think we need to talk more about like trauma in the context of war and like refugee stuff, in the context of like the fact that we have very, very like violent histories. You can't really try to have like a community that is thriving if you yourself aren't thriving, and vice versa too.
So I think in some sense I feel like it's not something you can change very much, but you can definitely start with, conversations with your parents, maybe, people in your family, about how they can be more understanding of your situation.
It's not something that most people or any people just get over. And I think that is a misconception that really needs to be dismantled in the Asian American community, that mental health issues might be something that you live with and struggle with for the rest of your life. And that doesn't have to be a bad thing, because there are resources and there are people that can help you. And there are ways to just make living with a lot of mental health issues better.